Hey everyone. I've been asked by a few of you what my thoughts are on marriage, so I thought it may be helpful for some of you for me to make a video on this topic and basically share my thoughts on it. So this video is going to be all about what I think of marriage. So I think marriage is a pretty tricky thing. I feel like it's kind of an archaic government contract that hasn't really evolved to meet modern times. But beyond that, I think the most important part of marriage is the partner you choose. And this is what a lot of people mess up. People just aren't great in general at choosing good partners. And one thing I will say here is if your partner isn't what you would consider high quality, or they're just not a high quality person in general, do not consider marrying them at all. I don't care how much you love them or anything. If your partner is not high quality, do not marry them. That right there is probably the biggest thing that I can say would prevent a lot of divorces. Just don't get married to low quality or even middle quality people. Wait for someone who's truly high quality. That alone is going to greatly reduce the risk of a future divorce with them, because high quality people are the very ones who will work with you on things. They will grow with you. They will want to figure things out instead of just considering divorce as an option. And they're far less likely for you and them to grow apart from each other, because they're probably going to already be in a similar headspace to you if you're high quality as well. That's another thing I should add. You should work towards becoming high quality yourself, because if you aren't, your odds of attracting a high quality partner and then getting them to want to marry you are really low. These people are only going to be looking for other high quality people. So it's in your best interest to work on yourself. But beyond all of that, I do tend to think that marriage is kind of a contract that doesn't really favor men anymore, or doesn't really benefit them all that much anymore. I think that us men are pretty much getting the short end of the stick here, not because of marriage itself, but because of the way that courts tend to handle the outcome of divorce, and how men usually lose half of their possessions. Usually in most cases, men are the breadwinners in families, and that's okay. That's not a bad thing. It's just kind of the way the world has been up until now. It is starting to change, and there are a lot of women who are making more money or just making equal pay to their spouses. But for the most part, up until now, and even still to this day, men make more money. So pretty much however you break it down, whoever makes more money in the relationship is the one who's going to get screwed in divorce, for the most part. But even, I can't even really say that, because divorce courts still favor women. Even if a woman makes more than her spouse, her husband, they'll probably still be more inclined to give her a better deal than the man. And it's just a tricky situation in general, and this is obviously coming from my perspective as a man, but the way I think about it is I just don't want to get screwed like that, because the divorce rates are so high that it's a very real possibility. And I know I want to have businesses and that sort of thing to my name, so you can be damn sure I'm going to be incredibly careful about the kind of woman I would ever even consider marrying, because I don't want to lose half of my things just because a relationship didn't work out. Because when you get down to it, marriage is really not super different from any other long-term relationship. It just has a government contract backing it now. That's the only difference. So why should you have to pay all of those prices for it not working out, when that's not the case for other long-term relationships? It's just, I feel like marriage needs to evolve. Like the way they handle it in the court of law needs to evolve. Right now it's a very weird situation. Just it's tricky. And I feel like a lot of the problem is also due to just the way we as people have evolved psychologically up until now. People just aren't, I wouldn't say they're quite as good as they used to be, because I wasn't alive 50 years ago to know, but I just feel like people as a whole were kind of just declining over time, in terms of most people are low quality nowadays, when at least before, it seemed like more people were middle to high quality than there are nowadays. It just seems like people overall aren't as patient. They're not as willing to work on themselves, to grow and evolve, to become a high quality person. and that just messes things up. So really, at the end of the day, my opinion here doesn't mean all that much. What you should really focus on is the partner that you're choosing for this. Everyone should do what works for them and what they want. So if you want to get married, by all means, go for it. But really be careful on who you choose. Like, for real, don't choose just anyone. If you really want to get married that badly that you're willing to choose a low quality person, I can tell you right now, you are probably going to get divorced from them. So don't make marriage your goal. Make finding a high quality partner your goal, and then go from there. See if you get to a place with them where marriage seems like a good option for the two of you. But just don't fall into that whole fantasy of marriage, because there's so much more to it than that. It's all about your partner and being able to work with them and grow together, and not consider divorce as the first option when things start going wrong, and being able to work through problems, that sort of thing. One final thing I will say is that age also matters here, and I more so mean for young people. It doesn't matter the older you get, but I would very much tell young people, people who are younger than 25, that they should probably wait before considering marriage. I know a lot of people will get married when they're young, but unless your partner is high quality already when you're young, which is pretty rare, but it's possible, I would say you should postpone marriage until you're after 25. And my reasoning here is that psychologists know that your brain is supposed to be fully developed by the time you're 25 and beyond that. So if you get married before that phase, the problem you may run into is that you and your partner could start growing apart because your personalities aren't fully developed, because your brain isn't fully developed yet. So once you're 25 and older, you're pretty much at a point where your personality is kind of, I can't say set in stone per se, but it's just far more permanent than it would have been when you were younger than 25. You're basically at a place where you kind of know who you are, and you're going to grow, of course, and change over time, but it's not going to be super drastic like it will be from, say, age 20 to age 25. People grow a lot in that short 5-year span. So you just don't want to run into the risk of getting married before 25 and you and your partner growing apart because your brain's fully developed, and then you realize you like different things, and then it creates problems. But I guess if you're going to get divorced, younger is better than older, just because you're far less likely to have a good nest egg that can be cracked open and split between you. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be super cynical here, but I've looked into marriage quite a bit, and it's tricky. It's very tricky. So at the end of the day, make up your own mind on this, but always be careful about the partner you choose. That's just the main thing I can say about this. Just always be careful about who you choose. Do not choose anyone who isn't high quality, and I truly mean that. But anyway, I hope throughout my rambling here you got something of value, and I hope this video helped you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci.